Alright, game versus the Ducks. So opening face-off. We'll see what we can glean from this. Eh, not a bad idea. Yeah, I guess from memory, nothing's happening so far. So from memory, it looked like we were struggling with clean breakouts in this game. We were hemmed in our zone for a fairly long time at periods of times, and we have some new players on defense as well, so we'll see what we can pick off. Now immediately right here I can see a bit of a pickle. So Janice, left wing. So wings in general, we want to stay closer to the D. So in this case 26 Hans would be Justin's responsibility, and in Janice you would want to cover number 6 here. So basically what the issue is, you're just coming down too close to the net and not staying close to the D. And so what happens as a result is they get a free pass up there and they get a shot. And the other thing is this also puts you out of the risk of in the firing line. So he took a shot, and then the shot hit you, you got blocked. Now if you are nice and close to them, you won't, the risk of you getting hit by the puck is going to be lower, and you'll also be able to put a little bit more pressure on them to maybe lose the puck. So that is one thing I want to highlight. Now let's continue. See anything else exciting? Not quite. Couple rushes, and then they cleared it out. Probably an icing. Yeah. So I lied, it was not icing. But coming up the ice, little big diagonal pass to Janice. Now this was a new game where we kind of swapped our wingers around. So Janice is a right-handed player, usually playing on the right wing. So we've decided, let's mix it up a bit. Let's get a feel. What's the pros? What's the cons of playing left side, right side? And here was an example of right-handed player playing on that left wing. You are not going to be on your forehand, right, coming up the ice. So there's going to be a little bit of a challenge there as well. But the more we play on it, the more you're going to get used to it. So again, we're going to try to get more ice time on there for everyone, just different positions, get a feel for everything. Now one of the next things here, we see Lauren gets the puck, but just a little impatient there. She's got that red tape, she's got that force field, so no reason to send it out like that for that easy turnover. Now regular hockey, that might be a little bit of a different story, but we can always abuse these little loopholes in the VHL as well. And Thomas's pass so hard that just took out their legs. Bam! Alright, let's continue. Okay, so pass up to Dave. Passes it off to Kathy. What was that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Kathy. So we've talked about don't make a pass before the blue line, at least carry it in the zone. She breaks that. Let's take that cardinal rule up to the next level. There, I have talked about it in the past about some exceptions. Let's say there's people cutting and you can do a lead pass to split the D. I don't know. There are going to be exceptions like that. But this was so close to just putting yourself, honestly, you might even be offside, to be honest. That's offside. I don't know how they gave you that. That's offside. Big time offside. And that's exactly what I've been talking about. Don't do any silly games on that blue line. At least just get it over the line, then you can pass it to Emily, right? And okay, it's another story if you pass it past that blue line and then Emily can skate into it. That's a different story. That could be fine, like you're leading into the zone, like for example, you send it into an area pass like this. That makes sense. We've trying to avoid is passing to players. Let's say we've said you typically want to avoid passing in this zone, typically, and especially in the case where it's kind of passing to a player and it's before that blue line, because if they can't handle it and you skate into the blue line, it's offside. So boom, they couldn't quite handle it. That is like, I mean, video review, it's offside, but we got a little bit of a leeway. So yeah, not a huge fan of that pass, and we will end the clip here because they cleared the zone. All right, coming back. So Lorraine is one of our new Ds, and one of the concepts I've always tried to build upon the Ds is, number one, we want to go wide. So coming out when we have possession. So in this case, Ray has possession of the puck. We want to be number one. If you do not have the puck as a D partner, you want to be at least parallel on the ice, so somewhere on this dotted line, and slightly rearward, so you're going to be behind them, so on this side of that dotted line. And what that allows is we can always pass way across the ice, and you're almost also being able to go zigzagging backwards. So let's say if Ray was over here and you're over here, then you can zigzag pass backwards as you continue to move back all the way back into our own ice, and that's really just buying yourself time until the point where, let's say you get behind the net, then you just want to be on the opposite corner, and that way you can bounce pass across the net, slide it along the boards, a simple just pass across, things like that will open up. So let's continue playing. We can see how, Lorraine, you backed up into front of the net. So when we have that puck, just stay wide. You want to go whoop right to the boards or in that corner there. Now this is also on me on that breakout. I probably should have came down even lower, but I think the idea was to get a bounce pass off and off to the races. However, timed that a little bit off and the bounce didn't come as cleanly as we would have hoped, and that got taken off. But let's continue on. The recovery is good. Again, here's for Lorraine. So the moment you see, boom, Ray has that puck, it's going to be a bit of a hustle for you. Is backward skate, open up, get all the way over the boards, because you're going to be that outlet pass. So as D, Ray's first instinct, well, will be looking up the ice. Is there a pass option in the middle? Can he skate it up? If there's a lot of space. Otherwise, if there's a lot of pressure, it's going to be taking it behind the net, where I call it that little safety zone, that little section behind the net, where you're usually going to have a little bit of time to breathe and take a look. And that's also going to give you time, Lorraine, to get over here on the boards and get open for a pass. And now, it doesn't have to always be on your side. If it feels like there's some more space on this side, you could totally do that if Ray is coming along like this. The most important thing is you're just trying to take, get yourself a little bit of space and be a passing option. So let's continue watching. You see how he does eventually take it here, but not any prime passing options in terms of your D partner, right? Lorraine, you're serving not a good outlet pass, so if you could have been here, you could draw some forecheckers towards you. You can almost use Kathy as that guide. You just mirror that. If she is here, you just want to be here. Easy peasy, right? Let's continue. Passes it to Kathy. Not so clean. And I think part of this may also, I think, can alleviate is my fan of staying wide. That may have helped. Hard to say, but let's continue. So they were able to take it out of the zone, and that's bought some time for us. Reset. D to D pass again. Here we just want to make use of more width. So instead of being here, being over here is going to be better. And let's continue. Now there are I guess exceptions where sometimes you'll see some players are here, but you'll oftentimes see if they have really good abilities to kind of open up backwards crossovers and build speed, they'll start here, pivot, backwards crossover, and then pivot back up. In that case, that makes sense. However, if you just start here, then it keeps it kind of simple. So D to D pass, couldn't quite handle it. And then we're kind of out of the zone. Okay, so couple topics there, and we'll leave it. Here's another clip. Now I know it might feel like I'm harping on Lorraine, but it's just a pretty good example of Ray doing his dipsy doodles in the middle of the ice. For me, I would have preferred him opening up this way, doing some backwards crossovers. And really what that goal is going to be is you're pulling number 3 towards you. And then if Lorraine opens up to this ice, now you can see where that advantage comes from, right? All the way across, number 3 is going to have to skate a marathon just to get close to you guys. However, with Ray's moves and then this pass, you can see how this distance, my goodness, number 3 can take 2 steps and they're up in your front door, right? So now in this case they didn't skate very hard to get there. However, that it kind of illustrates that point of taking advantage of that width. And you know, of course, in this instance, part of it was Ray deciding to dipsy doodle and skate towards Lorraine rather than away, taking care of that advantage of building a gap. So here is an example of making it a little too easy for them to enter the zone. So gap control, closing up the gap a little bit. In this instance, I would say David III, Thomas II has a pretty decent gap control, right? And I would say that's kind of what we're looking for Thomas. If he was kind of here, it would have been preferred. You can almost use number 3 as that gap control target. And what that's going to allow us to do is put pressure on Melissa right at that blue line. Could poke check, could do whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, with Thomas being so far back, right, then we're not able to put pressure on Melissa, so she is just coming in completely free zone entry, right? So, bing, free zone entry, stops up, and then Justin's putting pressure on her. Now, fortunately for us, she whipped the pass, but here is a perfect example of conceding the zone too much. So, preferably, if we could basically use David's pretty much the right target, And if we're keeping that backwards momentum, and then we try to close up the gap until around that blue line. But if we can poke check and then try to make them do a deke or do anything fancy at that blue line, it would be much more preferred without coming to a stop. So keeping that backward skating momentum. Why? So that they don't just skate around you like a pylon and beat you to the net. Would be the goal that you're aiming for as defense. Alright, so clean breakouts, bit of our struggle. Let's kind of watch, see what we can break down. Ooh, big stiff glyph there by Justin. And we're still not able to get it out. Let's oh my goodness, big chance for the duckies. And now it's a little messy, right? Our right wing is now in our lefty. Okay, I'll accept the icing. I will take that. I will take that. So let's rewind. Let's try to break down as much as we can. What are the elements? What could we have done maybe a little bit better to help Carrie Ann out right here? So she's skating. Again, we've talked probably heading towards that safety zone. The first expectation we want to see for our D is getting over to that corner for the pass option. Now, it doesn't have to be in that corner. If we feel like there's less players on the other side, Thomas can totally go back this way, and Carrie Ann just has to reverse it back. Not a problem. Now our centers, we probably want to see them come in close, and what that is basically enabling is short distance passes. So whether it comes to Thomas and then the short distance pass to the center, it's just being that extra layer of help. And if anything goes wrong, we're also going to be in a spot to help out defensively. Now right wing definitely wants to get out over here. Now we can read it where, let's say their defense decide to go ultra aggressive. Then there are going to be opportunities sometimes for our wingers to sneak behind them, and where they can bump it off the wall, or even just have seam pass behind them. Like sometimes, for example, let's say everyone is way down there, like defense is down here, blah blah blah, everyone's over here, then maybe it's going to open up a stretch pass down the middle. That's going to be on a situation to situational basis. And then the other winger, I like staying wide, but so that's generally going to be like, let's say boop 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 and boop. Okay, so let's see how this pans out, and then we'll pause. So we're getting a bit of a concentration here, and in general we're kind of okay. Okay, so maybe this one is a little forcing of a pass. If we could have just gotten it to Justin and then bounced straight out to Dave, it would have been pretty simple, but that's fine. Let's continue. Shot on net. Back in the corner. Positioning's okay. I think this one would have been fine if David was able to chip it to Emily. I think this would have been pretty simple out. Couldn't quite get it. Okay, and yeah, I think at this point aggressive. I would say this is aggressive on Thomas's part with 3 players behind him, and then Carrie Ann's also kind of not in great positioning. Understandably trying to clear the zone, but opens up for this. So that got a little scary for sure. And then we got the ice in there. Okay, so those are some thoughts there. It wasn't too bad in this instance. Alright, here's a clip. Janet has the puck. Unfortunately, she got chased down by another red tape. That's fine. You know, these are kind of the growing pains as we get better. But I prefer that than if we lose the puck by just kind of panic passing. Now, positionally, again, I will always prefer getting a little bit closer to the boards. I know that means just getting you're going to feel further away from the play, but it's just a lot of avenues are going to open up. Right, so now we're just kind of stationary on the center of the ice. Now, if you ever feel like, oh, I'm in the wrong position, kind of never be worried about kind of skating backwards and then towards where you need to be and coming back up again. And part of that is going to be beneficial than if you went straight along. So that means you're going to have your back turned the whole way and you won't have the speed, versus if you go back a little bit for this period of time here and here, you're going to be kind of sideways facing to the play, so you can still kind of receive the puck. And then from here you go across. Now this part you will be your back turn unless you're able to pivot, but the important thing is from here to here, so doing this is you're able to keep a forward momentum. You're not going to be in a standstill, and that's going to give you a little bit of advantage in terms of skating, and you're also going to be saving some energy there. So that's something I would advise or recommend doing, rather than kind of standing in the middle, and then you should be able to get the puck and skate with it. So that's my recommendation there. So here's a funny clip. Big stick lift. So that's Dave. I think it's Dave Lee. Another Dave. We got Dave number 4. My goodness, too many Daves around here. But little stick lift on Carrie Ann. He is kind of known to have no mercy plays within the rules, where once you cross this line, it's all fair game. But the funny thing was when here comes Janice, gets the puck, and then he whacks it out of her stick. Oopsie daisy, oopsie daisies. Well, that's fine. But okay, after that silliness, here is kind of a demonstration. Now, making use, again, we're talking about that 3-lane highway. If we're able to change lanes and take that empty space, take it. Now, I think in terms of efficiency for Justin, what I think I would have preferred in terms of the path he took is more like, this is fine. This is nothing wrong with it. What he's doing here. What I may want to suggest is how if he actually comes across and then skates up, it's just my thinking is you're gonna have the ability to build up more speed, which may be an advantage, rather than kind of like, you see how he had to glide a little bit from here to here, and that's mostly just because he's in an awkward body position, versus, and this is my opinion, if he comes up like this, it's going to be a better body positioning, and he's going to have speed coming up. So that's just kind of like a small change, but I mean, again, this was fine. It works out. Like the key the important concepts are there. We're not bunching up in the middle. We're taking advantage of that 3-lane highway. We're switching lanes to what's open, and we're making use of full width of the ice. And really, what's important is now he's got that free lane into the zone, and what he wants to do with it afterwards is kind of up to him. So the important stuff is there. Whether we can improve upon that, those are some ideas there. Now let's continue. Let's see what he is able to pull out. Little bit of a force pass, you know, that's fine. I think one of the things Justin could do to elevate his game to the next level, something he can work upon on his next stick and puck, is he's a left-handed skater, right? So if he is able to, boom, tight turn right here, and then open up and then find, like, in that way he's going to be left-handed shooter on the off wing, forehand, going to be in physical advantageous positioning to either do a pass or a shot through skating to here. That is something that could totally be something that you could work towards. But let's continue. Janice has the puck. Not a bad idea. Maybe a little bit of a first. No, it's okay. Just kind of hit the stick. That's fine. That's fine. And yeah, it looks like they come out of the zone after this. So this one, I feel like maybe like I know Thomas is trying to go for like the quick ups on the boards, but I feel like in a situation, like, let's actually rewind this a little bit. So they're coming on that tack, right? That was after that exit out, and we kind of got that turnover, and Carrie Ann's got that reset. And I feel like what we could be in a little bit more patient with the reset and just buying some time for our guys to come back into the zone to kind of either skate it up or kind of buy some time and then pass it up more cleanly on tape to tape, rather than this, because this kind of gets messy and it allows for their D to step up and, you know, cause havoc. Now right here, Justin and Hans looks like he's getting mugged for his lunch money. But it's a good board battle there. I think once Justin gets a bit more stable with his skate, it's going to be a nightmare for other defenders to get the puck off of him on the boards. But again, you know, this kind of comes back to if we're able to buy some time before passing it up, then, you know, this situation doesn't kind of, it won't pop up. Again, here we want that width. We kind of discussed about that with Ray and Lorraine earlier. If Thomas is able to get all the way over here, you know, it kind of opens up, but like it relieves a little bit of pressure, and like even we can rewind a little bit. Like this is like, it makes sense, right? The forwards want to pick off the D. Now, if we get closer and closer and closer together, now there's no reason for them to follow them this way and open up space for Carrie Ann, and thus this little distance, 2 steps, they're already knocking on their front door, asking if you know about the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But Carrie Ann's able to get a clean pass up to Justin, and now pretty good pass up to Dave, and good shot on net. So 2 things were just the common theme. Maybe a little bit more patience with the puck, and then that width, that D to D width, will help relieve some of the pressure. All right, more breakouts. Let's, oh, okay, wait, hold on. Why is Lorraine all the way up there? Let's rewind a little bit. Okay, so she came across to stop a red tape. At this point, play's dead, so immediately I would say we would want her to reset, probably right about here. And yeah, maybe got caught a little too excited, puck chasing as a lefty going out here. So okay, Now we can see why she was up there. Fair enough. So just slightly out of position there. At this point, Ray recovers. Now we've said if you get to the corner over here, that would be Lorraine's spot to aim for. Emily and Kathy look like they're in okay spots. This should have been right here. That's wide open, Ray. Ugh, why do you do that? Okay, pass across, gets picked off. Good read by 19. Now, I have talked about in the past where this red line is probably going to be usually that bare minimum. And again, as we get faster and faster, there's going to be more situations, and they're able to read the play. If we're too high, like this is probably at the limit of where we want to be, it's still fine, is the D or their centers are going to be, typically the D are going to be able to read it and step in front and intercept. In this case, 19, he's a good player, so he's able to read this kind of stuff like a children's book. So that's fine. Play gets broken up there. So what happens here? Ray goes for the reset again. Common theme. Lorraine just open up wide, and positioning looks okay. And in a breakaway goal. So good pass by Kathy there. One thing, maybe Emily's a little too close in the middle. Preference maybe more on the wing side. And really what's important about that is just being able to like, let's say I'm a little bit ahead as a center, so I got a little lucky there with that puck. But let's say Kathy evaluates that and says that's not a really good option. With Emily being on that far side boards, you can kind of see how that would be a really nice option for her if she's able to see that. So that's a slight adjustment there, but nonetheless, that was a 1-0 goal. We have now taken the lead. All right, so I think we're getting hemmed in the zone on this one. A little bit before we start on that, here's another thing. We can see that gap control, easy zone entry. If we're gonna able to put a little bit more pressure on that blue line, it would be preferred. I would say Thomas is more than capable as a really good skater to do that. So a little bit of a free zone entry there, but that's fine. So let's break down defensively. What is the situation here? Again, here we go. We want our wingers to be nice and close to the D. So Janice a little bit too far down, and then David's going to be that third defenseman helping out those decor. So right now, who's being left alone? This player's being left alone. This player's being left alone. Who's not covering them? Carrie Ann is not covering them. David the third or Thomas the second is not covering them. So some things are probably going to get messy coming up. Let's see. Let's continue. So Carrie Ann picks him up. There we go. Boom. One-timer chance right there. So Dave's a little slow to that, and we can kind of see how that built up. And then, oh, big chance right there. Now, fair enough. Like, Justin's following Hans. Maybe he could have been a little bit closer. Or, alternatively, what I could also suggest is because if we just recognize who you're defending and what hand they are. So Hans is left-handed. So instead of going body positioning this way, if you want to opt for the sneaky stick, where going on the opposite side and you're just basically watching it, anytime that puck starts getting close, you stick lift the crap out of them. and that would probably achieve the same effect. But nonetheless, we're a little bit late there, but Justin's doing a pretty good job following him. Here we go, Janice. We want to stay close to number 11. So came down a little bit too close, and understandably, maybe you just want to help, but again, one of the things, by helping you, by sticking close to number 11, that is helping. So we just have a responsibility to usually cover who we need to cover. And then here, that's kind of where we see some problems where because Janice, you're not number 11, Dave has to come up to cover for you, and then it gets a little messy later on. In this case, oh, he's able to keep it in. So we're still in the zone. Oh goodness. Too many people down low. Yeah, again, this one's just more, yeah, Janice want to be up here. Now you don't need to be standing next to them. You don't need to give them hugs and kisses, but in a general proximity. So let's draw a little circle. Let's say that's where their stick is. If you can be roughly around here, or let's say, so you draw a little circle, like it's gonna be more like a Venn diagram. A little circle, that's where his stick is gonna be. If we can overlap that like a little Venn diagram, we'll draw Janice here with her hockey stick. If you're able to kind of poke check where his limitations of his stick is, that's gonna be roughly the perfect spot. And you don't need to do a little extra skating in that instance. Right here, if you're kind of over here, then maybe that would be a little bit better. But okay, let's continue. We're still in the zone. How can we get this? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, Justin. You were doing so well before. You were doing so well following Hans. This is getting really messy. And common theme, again, we're just kind of losing track of who we should be defending. Too much puck chasing. Again, right here, Janice needs to be covering here. Carrie just covers that player. We got the two over here already. That's perfectly fine. Justin's not miss on their player, so we got two defenders. About 3 players unchecked. And that opens up. Boom, shot opportunity. Ooh, a big rebound. Oh my goodness. So it's getting really messy. Did Dave just fall on his own? Was it a tripping penalty? Oh, he just fell on his own. And then now we're able to get out. So we got hemmed in the zone. Big chances for the Ducks there. Could have easily scored, but Cliff bailed us out. Common theme. Wingers need to stay closer to the D. For the most part, Justin, you did a pretty good job following Hans, except for that last moment there. Janice, you're just coming too close to the net, like our net. You want to stay a little bit closer to the D. And then Dave at center, probably chasing to the D too much, and then it kind of opens up and leaves that third forward unchecked in the zone. So it got a little messy there. Alright, so a little awkward situation with the late D change there. I think one initial comment right here is perhaps Lorraine and Emily are a little bit on the panic passing. I guess they just haven't quite gotten used to taking advantage of that red tape rule, but it works out. We're able to get that puck to Ray. Ray's going hardcore. Boom! My goodness, he makes all these fancy moves in the zone, Kathy gets right up in front. But one thing I wanted to notice, so excellent goal right in the 5 hole. One of the things I want to highlight is that note her positioning. In the past, and also a lot of other red tapes in general, or beginners, they go backdoor. What that means is they're going to shift over here, and in their mind they think that's a superior positioning because on the backdoor there's no goalie there. It's just almost open net, and they think, oh, if I get it here, it's all open net, it's going to be easy goal, blah 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 blah. The only problem with that is if you're in the back door, it is a much harder pass to get to. So in this case, like let's say Kathy's going on that back door, Ray will have 1 defender, 2 defenders, and the goalie stick to get past. And then not to mention the goalies usually are decent in sliding in one direction. Now with her kind of spaced out, so she's that kind of at the edge of that circle. Awesome spot too. Actually kind of part of the magic spot as well. You can almost draw like a little diamond, and that like anywhere around there is going to be spectacular. But the important thing is that she's on the side and spaced out a little bit, so you can see how that lane where those defenders are slightly behind it versus backdoor, you see how that crosses through where they are, and that allows for a pass to kind of come through. Boom, one timer. Now even though a goalie is there, just the fact that you're able to get a shot off versus if you were backdoor, where the risk, I mean the chances of even getting a shot off is much lower, is something I really wanted to highlight, because that positioning is kind of key to even getting this chance. Now ignoring Ray making all those fancy moves and dekes, but yeah, really good positioning there. Alright, so positionally again here, let's rewind a little bit. A little impatient with the puck there, Lorraine, but that's fine. So they're sending it back down low, and here again, our winger way far from who we would typically be defending, but in this case, fine. Kathy intercepts it, and we're going out of the zone. Now, interesting development here, and I'm gonna kind of pick on it a bit. So starting right here, we're off to the races. Now, my thinking process for my pathway is I'm gonna go to the boards, and really I'm trying to pull players towards me. And if they come towards Kathy, she can just do an easy bounce pass off the boards and we're off to the races. But that's the idea. So now we've pulled players. We're basically pulling, we're opening up the laneway, and this is all gonna, boom, right here. Can you see this vast ocean of space that Kathy can opt to go for? So once that's done, I'm thinking she could totally do this. And this might be a stickler of old habits where we think right wing, we gotta be right wing, like on the right hand side, left wing, we gotta be on left hand side, blah 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 blah. And going through the neutral zone, we don't want to think that way. Always just kind of touch back to 3-lane highway. Whoever there's open space, change lanes, get over there. And right now I'm seeing this left lane is completely open, so change double lanes and get over there. In this situation, Kathy opts to reverse back and go into high traffic zone where tons of people are, and then gets picked off. So I would say I would pick on that. And here is just some hypothetical ideas. So after we've pulled everyone across, right? And then from here, let's say Kathy starts swinging across. Now, if I swing across here as well, there could be opportunities where a pass comes up the seam and we're off to split the D. Now, at the same time, we saw Emily. I would say I would have preferred her to be, again, on this open lane highway where Kathy doesn't even have to skate all the way here and just zip a pass across. Like, she can just go like this, pass across, and then off to the races. However, in a situation like this, what could totally happen is, let's say Kathy comes across, cuts across 2 lanes, and then myself cuts across 1, and then Emily zigzags across like this. Same effect, right? We're all kind of crisscrossing with each other, but we're occupying different lanes, and then things like that can start to open up. So some things to kind of think about and observe here. Now, one of the things I have noticed with Lorraine is this kind of how she is basically attacking as the defender, and she is doing kind of a lunging pattern right like this, just basically going straight on and trying to take the puck off of that. Now, there's going to be 2 problems with that. Number 1 is if you miss, you're going to go behind them, and it's basically, it'll be a flyby. So right here, she's got beaten, and now look at this in big separation already. We can see right there, and that's just caused it by going for it. Now, number 2, it is also a more of a safety concern. So let's rewind. Let's say you strike forward and they don't deke the opposite way of where you go. Then it's a head-on-head collision, and then, you know, somebody can get hurt. So that is more of the safety concern. Now, how we would want to play this better more is, rather than going straight for them, we want to first close up the gap. Then if we can pivot backwards, and then you control the speed of what you're backwards getting to close up the gap rather than lunging forward. So you're just kind of like controlling almost like your speed dial, and then that way you can close the gap, and you're still maintaining your position between yourself, like the player, and the net or the goalie, rather than fly by. And now we are handcuffed, right? So we get a shot on net. So here's the defensive draw. And then we talked about before, wingers want to go straight to the D, right off the face-off, and here, way better reaction, right? Boom, face-off draw, and we already see Justin and Janice are skating up. Now, maybe you can't get there super fast, but as long as you're getting up there, it creates pressure. Boom, right there. Number 6 couldn't handle the puck. And look how close Janice is. She's ready to strike. She's ready to poke check the crap out of him. And because you're there and putting pressure, you're making number 6 make a forced decision. Oh, I gotta get rid of this puck quickly. And he opts to pass it across. And because Justin did not pause and he started his skating early, boom, right there, able to intercept it. And then he's off to the races. Now, pretty fast, right? Pretty fast. Unfortunately for him, their 2 defenders are also very fast skaters, and so couldn't quite beat them on the foot race. but just like this alone, that gap, you got that advantage built, and it starts with skating off that face-off draw quickly. And it was a good chance. You got a good, able to protect the puck, and a big juicy rebound on that backhand shot right here. Probably easily could have been a goal, and then fell down. But yeah, that's a good highlight. Our wingers, Janice and Justin, both skating off those face-off draws right away, so very good. And you're making them make unforced errors, right? I thought this one was really funny. So pass up to Emily. Whose team are we on? We're trying to fire a shot on Cliff here. Boom, one-timer. I think this sequence of plays is just kind of driving me a little nuts. So the first one, Ray comes out. Pretty simple pass right here, I would say. Okay, so opts not to. Decides to do the old ripperoni across our good old pizza slice. But no risk there, we're okay. Now Kathy comes up. A vast ocean of space to cut across. Looks pretty juicy to me. Soft little backhand, but still recovers. Okay, fine, fair enough. Now we're setting up, getting ready to get into our triangulation of setting up our cycle of doom. What do we opt to do instead? Oh my goodness. What is going on? What has happened? Oh my goodness. Obviously I'm just picking on them now, but so this one, again, I think we can highlight the 3-lane highway. We've opted for heavy concentration in the middle. Bit awkward, certainly. So if we can change lanes a little bit or anything like that, just to spread out a little bit, will be better. Now part 2, try to avoid passing before the blue line, but this is fine. You passed into the zone, so that helps everything, prevents it from being offside. So okay, fair enough. Now the same thing, this problem still persists. We've got huge concentration with players right here. Whether David needs to go out here, go over here, and then same with Justin and Janice. If you can spread out a little bit, it will usually help buy you a little bit more space. Okay, settles it down. Good pass to Carrie Ann, but maybe, yeah, she said she was using her new long stick, couldn't quite handle it, and a little bonk into the glass. Certainly a little embarrassing, so therefore I just needed to show it. Good to see Thomas skating the puck more often. Oh, looks, what happened here? It looked like a good puck battle going on. Oh, that was here. Little scuffle going on. I kind of want to watch this. It's like a Korean drama, a little K-drama on Netflix here for me. So a little scuffle over there. And then massive stick lifts there. Love it. Oh, big move. Play stopped by Oh, big block too. Uh-oh. Okay, so I had fun watching that K-drama, but what happened here? So we can pause right here. Our right wing, Mr. Justin, venturing a little far from who we need to defend. And so let's do a little recap. So our centers and defenses, we're going to need to pair up with some of the forwards, and then our wingers with the D. And so what happens here? Justin has ventured down way too low and has lost sight of Hans, and that's a big doo-doo. And big shot onto Cliff and saved. So let's continue. We're getting hemmed in the zone a little bit here. Shots on net. It's getting a little messy. Okay, we finally get it out. So yeah, some interesting stuff to think about at the beginning there, and then a little Netflix drama to watch midway through, and then a little bit of defensive lapse there at the end. All right, another same situation, breakout. What the fuck, Ray? What is this? So we're skating up together. Simple bounce pass up for Kathy to skate into. Simple. And you cut back. Ugh! What is that? What is that? So we're kept in the zone. So Lorraine gets it. Goes behind the safety zone. It's pressured right now. So Ray's in an okay spot, helping her out. And here, I would say for wingers, we don't want to come down so deep, especially if we see that we have control. Remember, we're trying to get open for outlet passes. But in this case, okay, Ray bounces it up to Kathy. Here is better. Like I said before, she started off at that line, which is at that kind of like that limit, and as she moved up, again, we're getting closer to D, which means it's going to be easier for them to close us off if they're reading it well, and thus turnover. It could have been a clean breakout. Ray. Okay, so there's a series of failed breakouts and zone entries, so why don't we just watch it all, break it down one by one. Okay, so this one was a little bit of impatience with the puck. So one of the things I like to suggest for all D in general is take the puck behind the net and then stop there and then look up the ice. You can scan left, scan right, and if someone's chasing you, then, skate away, run away, whatever. But you're going to buy yourself, 2-3 seconds, which is enough time to scan to know, hey, do I want to pass it to Ray? Do I want to pass it up the boards to Emily? Do I want to pass it up the boards to Kathy? It doesn't have to be up the boards. It could be straight on. If that's open, tape to tape. Or can I chip a small one to the center? So a little bit of impatience there, and then so at this point you see a player coming down, and I'm sure that was probably the bit of a panic moment happening there, trying to clear it out, or maybe that's the Kathy, couldn't quite tell. Something. So failed breakout, that's fine. Oh, what the hell happened there? Okay, probably got a little too excited with that one, and we all forgot our defensive duties. Okay, so chip up the boards to Kathy. Coming up. Now I remember this one. I probably should have been louder. My idea was, as she's coming up, and you can see there's this wall, and they're all kind of shifting this way. And my thinking was, if I can build up speed behind her, and with a drop pass to skate into it, we can probably enter the zone without any issues. So like if you dropped, boom. And you can see Hans is turning this way. This guy's not even looking at Kathy. And then I don't know his name. Mr. Lenius was kind of playing it easy. So, but Hans was able to pick that off. So we got that a little late, but yeah, that's the idea. So another failed zone entry, but at least we were able to break it out. And this little red tape battle going on. Okay, so alright, they got a shot on net. So should be simple breakout pass here. Not enough speed, and that was broken up. Okay, so another failed zone entry / breakout. Let's continue. So Ray gathers the puck in the corner, just pauses. What is that? What are you doing, Ray? You know, back. Oh my goodness. Okay. There's, Melissa's lower than Emily. You're gonna backhand pass it to her? Oh my goodness, Ray. So, recap. What did I just say for Lorraine to do? And for D in general. Bring it to the safety zone. Take a look. Do I want to pass it to the winger? Is my other winging going for a change, and should I wait for them to come down? Is Carrie Ann ready to be on the opposite side that I could pass to? Should it be just a simple pass up to the center? These are things that you can do when you bring it back there. Decides to, why don't I just abuse the ref and backhand a pass at him? And then what do we see here? What we should have done. Gone to the safety zone. Take a look. Sees Justin's finally here. Sees if there's Carrie Ann. Do I want to pass it to Emily? And in this instance, boom, decides to pass up to the center. Pass it out to Emily, and now we're out. And she comes in, dekes out, ooh, goal. And thus, we get 3 goals now, 3 up, 3-0. After like what, 3-4 failed breakouts? Hey, I wanted to, have we identified this for the red tapes? Skating towards the puck carrier and then towards the boards. And lo and behold, what do we get? Boom! She gets the puck on her stick. Now, unfortunately for her, she gets chased down by another red tape. That's just a little bit faster. But positioning-wise, Janice is able to get the puck a lot more. So now she's able to build upon the skills to skate faster and all that. It's good to see that she's in the right position to even just get these pucks. So that's good to see. And why don't we show Thomas skating in? Let's see what he can do. Oh man, that was close. That could have been nice. Alright, so they're coming in, and big rebound. Cliff deposits it to the side, so that's good. One of the things right here, we want to avoid panic passing out. If we can try to keep the puck on your stick as much as possible. And if you're going to pass, make it purposeful, make eye contact with what target you want to shoot towards. Whoa, big block shot. Before you pass. Now here we saw Justin creeping down a little too low. Getting a little far from who he should be defending. In this case, Janice is a little bit better. And thus, what does this mean? Big shot, because we're a little bit late. Oh my god, that rebound. She was ready to tap that in. Oh. Again, if we're... And now, again, we're just... We're lumping up. What is going on? We got a dog pile party. Everybody... Okay, again here. Janice, if you're able to keep that puck on your stick, don't need a panic pass there. Remember your red tape, gotta abuse it, take advantage of it, and then yeah. So here's the play. Good pass from Mr. Green Sox to their beginner red tape. She got a shot on, and now this is just on the left pad of Cliff and Mama Lenius trying to jam it in. She was just pushing. It wasn't really like shoving or anything like that. I think Justin said after the fact that because they're trying to jam it in, he's gonna start jamming it on the goalie. We need that extra grease from Justin. We love it. I love it. So I love this. Right away, Kathy's on top of the defender. So this is something we want to aspire towards for all our wingers. Actually, you definitely jumped the gun on that a little bit. Okay, don't aspire to that much, but nonetheless, that's what we want to do. We want to get up in front of the D's face, and what happens? You're just causing havoc, making life miserable, and boom, out of the zone. Perfect. You know, throw in a little ballerina move too while you're at it. It's great. But yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, for red tapes, just wingers in general, we want to skate towards the D right as that puck drops and make life miserable for them. You know, in the best case scenario, we take it off and you're on a breakaway. In an ideal situation, exactly like this. We're just making them fumble with the puck, and then if they come out of the zone, it's like all in our favor. So we gotta show a Cliff highlight. How often do we get that? Oh my god, Ray gets dangled out of his pants. Big save. Oh my goodness. And then a one-timer chance after that, but they didn't get it. And just for Justin, yeah. You did get it. Was a trip, but it was a trip by collision of skates rather than him tripping you with his stick. But it's your arch nemesis, Nate, once again. Alright, another situation where our wingers low. Mr. 26 free again with ample space. And you know, but Justin's a brave man. His ex-career as a goalie tells him, no fear, I'm ready to block those shots with my life. Tries to dangle through Hans's legs. Cool idea. Maybe if it worked, it would have been sick, but unfortunately not this time. Okay, so I was saying Lorraine was just not patient enough with the puck. She had to take advantage of her red tape, and she's taking advantage of it now, just blowing past through everybody. Boom, big shot. Carries it all the way. Yeah, that's like, you know, like I said before with red tapes, Janice, anyone, Carrie Ann, if I would rather you guys lose the puck on your stick than just kind of worrying about someone being on you and then throwing a pass out there, just throwing the puck out there. It's better to lose it on your stick in the VHL while we're still developing our skills. And then it's also kind of good habits to also look for targets before you pass and all that, and doing the stick battles. I thought this one was funny. So we're going back for the reset. So right here I'm thinking Kathy's building up some crossovers. She's going to take that middle lane. I can come in behind, do this, and then opposite winger will just come in and fill up that third lane highway, and then while the D are coming back on the resets. And what happens instead? Now, while this is funny, if we have a situation where we're doing a crisscross like this, we're coming this way, we're coming this way, oftentimes what's going to be better is you do either a drop, or even like you drop it backwards where they can skate into it. So that's good for everyone else to know when you're crisscrossing. But okay, so that's the funny part. But I remember this is Lorraine carrying it for round 2, skating it up and dangling through, bing bang. Oh, unfortunately just slipped on some banana peels, but it's good to see her carrying the puck. We love the tenacity from Carrie Ann. Just look at this. She's battling out with Papa Linias. Stick lifts flying up and down. And she still forces him to have the turnover. So that's solid. So the sequence up here looks quite nice. A little highlight here. Justin brings it in the zone before passes it. Something I like. Big drop pass to Janice. Big shot deflection. Spectacular. Now the goalie is a little out of position. I don't know what's going on there. Justin just throws it out front. Bounces off his skate. But not in yet. Not in. The goalie is swatting away at it. Or let me see one more time. Let's rewind this one more time. Boom. What's going on? Bouncing everywhere. And then Justin jams it in. So he did a little foreshadowing earlier. He said now that Mama Linus is jamming in, he's going to add a little extra grease to his game, ready to jam it in on their goalie. And what does he do? He finds those loose pucks in front of the crease. Now this one wasn't really a jam. It was kind of like bouncing all over the place. He reaches in. Boom. Slam dunk goal for Justin, and now we're up 4-0. So here's another example of the method of defense that Lorraine is doing, where she is coming for it. Again, number 1, if you miss, it's going to be a flyby, and number 2 is more of a safety reason, is boom, if they go the wrong way, it's more kind of safety for yourself, is that you can have a collision, and that could probably kind of get ugly for, you know, your kneecaps, this and that. So something to just consider. How would you want to play it instead? Is you come up, but right about, I would say starting about here, you pivot backwards, and you do that transition. So boom, pivot backwards, and the thing is, you can still poke check, but the thing is, if you miss or they make a deke, you can still keep up with them as they come along, and you can poke check again and again and again, and that's really what you're trying to do, and still stay between yourself and our net. Another clip about our wingers being too low. We can see Justin behind the net. Don't think we want to see that. Janice a little bit far from the D. And what happens? So Justin's trying to clear it out. No winger. No winger. Oh my goodness. Thankfully we blocked the shot, but again, you know, a highlight of importance of our winger staying in the D. Okay, so we talked about don't lunge forward. Here's the best example of it. Boom, big collision right there. That's like head on head, right? And again, what would we rather want to be doing? We're coming forward and then pivot backwards. And we want to avoid lunging forward because one, if you miss the puck, it's a flyby. Number two, if you know you guys are both in the same trajectory, boom, collision, you know, injury, anything else, just that's no good, right? So that's probably the best example of why we want to avoid doing lunging forward like that. So another example, Justin behind their D. Round two, shot on net. Oh, blocked by Thomas, but still, like, point still stands. Point still stands. All right. Last like 50 seconds of the game. A face-off just got won. It's 4-0. Preserving Cliff's shutout here. What the fuck, Ray? Just bounce it out. Why are we dangling? Why are we dangling here? All right, let's continue. Let's watch. Okay. Oh my gosh. We got the reversal. Fine. Cleared out. Oh! Oh my goodness. Okay, that is as sketchy as it gets. If you're gonna skate it back down, in this case she's right wing playing on the off wing, and she doesn't want to, like, it's going to be a disadvantaged place because her forehand's going to be inside of the ice to clear it out. Okay, if you're going to skate it down, skate it behind the net, and like, this is risky. Oh my goodness, like, imagine a turnover right here. Holy cow, how scary is that, right? Luckily it got cleared out. Was that game over? I had sound off. Yeah, that's game over. Okay, so we got lucky there to preserve Cliff's shutout. But otherwise, 4-0 game, pretty good game. I thought the game was a lot closer than what the score indicated, as evidenced by the amount of shots and rebounds examples that I had. But otherwise, good game.